It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222, your emails at randykabc@gmail.com, and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. Something that is very unique to the city of Los Angeles compared to the rest of the state of California is homeless encampments not only live here, they thrive here, and they operate with impunity, and the people inside these encampments can do all kinds of things that the average person would get arrested for, but we don't do that here because that's equity. I'm sure you have heard about all of the drama going down at the Koreatown homeless encampment, the one that's on this private lot, but that's not the only problem encampment. Just wait till you hear what's going on in an alley in Studio City. Here is a report from KTLA.
Now at 10:30, a Studio City woman says a group of men has been harassing her, hanging out in the alley behind her home. And the police, she says, are not doing anything about it. She says they're also dealing drugs and engaging in all kinds of lewd behavior, even with children nearby.
And none of that's a crime? It's the most confusing thing about all of this is even if we downgraded drugs to a misdemeanor, isn't it still a crime, an arrestable offense? Didn't you always hear that, hey, a misdemeanor can mean up to 6 months in jail? We're just supposed to completely ignore when people are dealing drugs in your neighborhood? Not to mention whatever's going on with the lewd behavior in front of children.
She and her neighbors simply don't feel safe. Chris Wolf is in Studio City for us tonight. Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Micah and Sandy. People I spoke with this evening say that they are just fed up and frustrated with the homeless situation right outside their apartment building. And now they feel trapped and helpless because they tell me they're getting no solid responses from government leaders or law enforcement officials.
And of course, law enforcement has their hands tied because the elected leaders in this city, whether it be the members of the city council, and this is a Nithya district, or the mayor, don't want us criminalizing homelessness.
Public nudity, flashing, sex, drug use.
All legal.
Lewd gestures, and
if you're poor, you can fornicate wherever you want. We've actually created a class system, and there is a whole other class of people that don't have to follow any of the laws that you have to follow because poverty makes it okay. That is equity in Los Angeles.
Lewd gestures and obscene, threatening language directed at young women.
All okay. Nithya totally fine with it.
This is what people in a certain part of Studio City say they have to endure on a daily basis from a homeless encampment they describe as a criminal plague. Marin Landry lives in an apartment building along Bluffside Drive near bustling Ventura Boulevard. She explains,
isn't this supposed to be the good part of town?
She explains her unit and parking space are just feet away from all kinds of unwelcome activity and interaction.
I am feeling like I am trapped, and I am trying to ask for help in the right course, and no one's paying attention to me.
And as we have seen over and over and over again, nothing happens when you go through the proper channels. The way city government is supposed to work, and it does work like this in a lot of smaller cities in Los Angeles County, especially in Orange County, you have a problem, you call your local elected representative, they work to solve that problem. In Los Angeles, Nithya wants you to check your privilege because the homeless have more rights than you.
In fact, while working on this story, we witnessed sexual activity on a mattress outside Marin's window.
So now we have this on tape. That's not a crime?
Later, we saw another man brandishing a large knife.
I guess that's totally okay, too. They have to protect themselves from the elements.
Marin tells us she's not the only victim of harassment, but joins several other young women with horror stories.
A lot of just very indecent things, what they want to do to our bodies, what they think of our outfits. And it's not like, oh, you look good today. It's a very graphic kind of attack on me and my body. I can be overpowered very quickly.
Disrobing, clearly touching himself.
Again, that's totally okay. Doing the most with your hands in the middle of the street in Studio City, totally allowed. Nithya doesn't want you arresting somebody for that. Karen Bass doesn't want you arresting somebody for that. Whose side are these politicians actually on?
So, in public, kids are walking by.
Neighbor Chris doesn't want to give his last name, but says he and his wife now try to avoid the alley at all costs.
God forbid if you happen to have a parking space in that alley, you're going to have to park on the street.
He recently called for help after a young woman at the encampment started screaming, covered in blood.
Oh, yeah. What about the homeless that are victims to the other homeless? Well, that's equity, too.
Police came and asked these people to move. They didn't take anyone away, but they didn't wait long enough either to make sure they moved.
You know, I know a lot of policing agencies in California are having staffing shortages, and LA might be the most prominent one in Southern California. Oakland's got a big problem in Northern California. And part of the issue here is I'm wondering if when people go through the academy and they go through the unbelievably difficult hiring process and they look at how the local electeds in a place like Torrance let their police act, and how the local electeds in Los Angeles don't let their police act, why morale would be so low you would not choose to be in this department. And that is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So they pretended to move and then just stayed.
Frustrated residents say they won't keep quiet, but will continue to press government leaders and law enforcement officials to resolve the problem.
I don't want to get hurt for something to be done. I don't want that to be the circumstance.
These people who are paying a lot of rent to be in Studio City are fearing for their safety on a daily basis. They've asked for help from the city, nothing. They've asked for help from LAPD, nothing. What are they supposed to do? I'm glad they finally brought this story to the local news. Maybe shame will work, but maybe it won't. Certain politicians like Nithya Raman are shameless.
LA City Council member Nithya Raman represents this area. Her office says it is, quote, dedicated to permanently resolving encampments as quickly as possible and getting people inside as the only way to avoid pushing the impacts of homelessness onto another set of neighbors.
So it's okay for these people to suffer because you don't want to arrest anyone. You're just going to push them into another neighborhood. The fornicating, fine. The brandishing of the knife, fine. Apparently one of these people got stabbed. That's fine, too.
We fully support LAPD enforcing the law around any criminal activity that may be associated with this encampment.
Well, that's just more gaslighting because you've already heard from the residents. They called the police did nothing. The police are not allowed to do anything. Gee, I wonder why so many are retiring early or transferring to other departments. Burbank will let you do your job.
End quote. But of course, for the people who live right next to it, this cleanup process is not happening fast enough. Reporting live in Studio City, Chris Wolf, KTLA 5 News.
So that's what's going on in Studio City. But of course, that's not the only district where this is happening. We've also seen the lawlessness and the things that have been going on in that massive homeless encampment that's got all the amenities you could ever want, including a barbecue pit and a kiddie pool and a tennis court in Koreatown. For an update on that, here's NBC4.
People who live nearby say it is just not safe. A homeless encampment in Koreatown raising safety concerns for the neighbors there. They say the encampment is getting bigger every month, more tents, more trash, even a TV. NBC4's Camilla Rambaldi live in the neighborhood with the city's response. Camilla?
Hi, Colleen. One neighbor I spoke with here says this has been an ongoing issue for about a year. We're standing right.
This encampment, which was only brought to our attention thanks to the local news a week ago, has been going on in Koreatown for a year. And this is a Katie Yaroslavsky thing where she hasn't done anything about this for a year because of nonsensical bureaucratic hurdles.
Hi, Colleen. One neighbor I spoke with here says this has been an ongoing issue for about a year. We're standing right outside the lot, the empty lot here, closed off with this fence. And some other people I spoke with who live nearby says this has become both a safety concern and a public health concern. The mayor's office says that action is being taken.
No, it's not.
Some neighbors here on South Manhattan Place are calling it a festering problem. An empty lot next to several apartment buildings between 7th and 8th Streets is now covered in tents, furniture, household items, and trash. News Chopper 4 captured this video today of the lot. People who live in the area say they're frustrated. When did you start seeing the tents?
Almost like a year, I think. They start coming one by one, but now it's too many.
And some say they are worried for their safety.
No safe place anymore. No more.
The lot is covered with a black fence with a no trespassing sign.
But they cut a hole in the fence and they live there. But apparently they don't want the news media going in there. So the only pictures that you see of this thing are the overhead shots from the helicopter.
A neighbor who lives across the street tells NBC4 he has made several reports to the LAPD.
They've actually come out a couple of times, but they would say that they can't go inside and they can't address the problem because it's on private property.
So what? If you commit illegal activity on private property, the police can't interfere? When was that a new rule? This is bureaucratic, jurisdictional finger-pointing do-nothingism. Somebody told the LAPD, you're not allowed to do anything about this because equity.
A statement today from the office of Mayor Karen Bass reads, it is entirely unacceptable for private property owners to allow their lots to become a nuisance and a danger to the community.
So what are you doing about it? This has been going on for a year. These people who are paying ridiculous amounts of money to live in Koreatown have to deal with this blight. There was a report from Fox 11 this week that people have been assaulted inside the laundry room of neighboring buildings by the people that live in this encampment. What have you done about it? Nothing. If it's the property owner that's the one to blame here, then what have you done about that?
All necessary city departments are responding to this location to hold the owner accountable and to keep the community safe.
Neither of those things is happening.
Outreach workers are visiting the site to engage with the unhoused. Councilmember Katie Yaroslavsky, whose district includes Koreatown, sent out this email earlier today to her constituents regarding concerns over nuisance properties and saying she is working on strengthening enforcement that would make property owners more accountable. Outside the lot,
what about the illegal activity happening there right now? Why doesn't that matter? Again, when did the homeless become a protected class?
We spoke with a woman who says she stayed at the encampment here for one night. Where are you staying now?
Just in the streets. I'll go from place to place. This is the largest encampment I've seen and been to.
She tells NBC4 that the city recently offered her housing she accepted and is waiting for final approval.
It's been very hectic. It's been 4 years since I've been homeless, since I lost everything.
Back across the street.
It's been a growing concern. We've been hearing a lot of break-ins and wandering people. We definitely see people
Yeah, how about the people trespassing into neighboring buildings? That's okay?
Coming in and out.
People who live here say they're hoping for a solution.
We need this problem addressed and more awareness.
And so far it's been a week and shaming on the news hasn't really done anything.
A spokesperson with Councilmember Katie Yaroslavsky's office tells me building and safety is now in touch with the property owner and that they are working on clearing the lot. NBC4 has attempted to reach out to the property owner today. We are waiting to hear back. We're live in Koreatown. Camilla Rambaldi, NBC4 News.
I just don't understand this. Oh, it's private property. There's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, that's what they said about the squatters that took over a vacant building in Hollywood, and nobody did anything about it until it burned to the ground. So The government has left us alone on this one. LAPD is not allowed to help. If this kind of illegal activity was going on in your neighborhood, let's say there was an alley in your neighborhood that was full of tents, full of people who were doing things that scared the crap out of you, whether it is lewd acts, whether it is brandishing a knife, whether it is dealing drugs, what have you, and local government won't do anything about it. What would you do since all the proper ways to get rid of these people hasn't worked? You have any ideas as to what the residents of Koreatown or Studio City can do? Doesn't have to be totally above board because nobody's playing fair anymore. What do you do to get rid of these people? Because local government has failed. And I wouldn't feel safe if this was in my neighborhood. Do you just leave? Do you hire someone with a skunk? What do you do to get rid of these people? If this was happening in your neighborhood, I want some creative solutions. How do you get rid of the people inside that Koreatown encampment? How do we get rid of the people inside of the Studio City encampment? I don't care about housing anymore. I just want them gone. Get rid of them. Police won't help. Nithya won't help. Katie Yaroslavsky won't help. Karen Bass won't help. How do we get rid of these people? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. What would you do to make these people flee the area and get rid of all their illegal activity? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. If local government won't help, what would you do to get rid of the homeless? 800-222-KABC. Let's go to John in L.A. John, hello.
Hey, Randy, how are you?
Doing great.
I'd like to compliment your screener. Good job on your new screener.
Thank you.
So it's interesting that they're willing to give extra security to Kamala Harris while she promotes her book, which a bunch of LAPD police officers were actually so taken aback by this that they decided not to do it, so they pulled back. Because she along with Dougie, have ample money from, I don't know where they got it, but they have enough money to pay for their own private security. Incidentally, I was at a coffee shop in Studio City, and the people from the coffee shop there, rather than calling the police, they called the fire department. And the fire department has to go over there because they say they pretend that like the homeless guy is having a seizure or something, whatever it is. So I guess the homeless guy can't tell the difference between the fire department official or police officer, and he just ends up leaving. So I told one of the guys from the fire department, I said, but you know, this is completely wasting resources that you guys could be busy like doing actual stuff that the fire department, you know, is called upon to do. And he said, well, you could call your city council. So I looked up who it was, Nithya Raman.
That's right. Nithya Raman, the godmother of the DSA members of the LA City Council. Thanks so much for the call, John. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. There is a naked homeless encampment in Studio City with lewd activity, drug dealing, and other criminal behavior. The LAPD aren't allowed to do anything about it. Nithya Raman doesn't want anyone to do a thing about it. So what would you do? Would you move, or would you figure out some way to make these people leave on your own? If you got any ideas, give me a call. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. I'd like for it to be a legal solution, but you know what? What does it matter at this point? It's not like we're enforcing the law. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. How would you get rid of this problem homeless encampment in Studio City that the city of LA won't do a damn thing about? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. More of your calls coming up next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. We're taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. There is yet another problem homeless encampment in Los Angeles that the local electeds don't want to do anything about. It's in an alley in Studio City, and neighbors feel threatened because there's fornicating going on, there's drug dealing going on, and there are threats going on, someone brandishing a knife. The local member of the city council, Nithya Raman, won't do anything about it. LAPD is not allowed to do anything about it. So what would you do? Would you move, or would you figure out another way to make these people leave on your own? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. If you're on hold, stay on hold because we're getting right to your calls next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails at randykabc@gmail.com and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. We're taking your phone calls right now at 800-222-KABC. There is a crime-ridden homeless encampment outside of an apartment building in Studio City. There's drug dealing, there's fornicating going on in front of school children. There is people brandishing knives and violence and threats, and LAPD is not allowed to do anything about it. The local member of the city council won't do anything about it, Nithya Raman. So if this is your neighborhood, what do you do? Do you move, or do you figure out some other way to get rid of these people? Let's go to the phones and start with Mark in San Diego. Mark, hello.
Hey, Randy. This is just one more thing. If this happened in my neighborhood, I'm gone. I mean, it's been stacking up about why stay, because I'm raising kids and I already cannot just some of the things that kids come home from school with, and the teachers union don't back these teachers, and then you go to the next issue and the next issue. And then you can't even go to a bar or restaurant and say anything without some type of you can't wear anything that supports Trump whatsoever, or you're going to get in some type of a confrontation that you don't want. And there's really no way. You're being chased out of California if you're not extremely wealthy. So my feeling is, until this gets the extremely wealthy people that can do something about this, unless that gets to them, it's not going to change. In other words, it has to go even farther. It has to get so extreme that they're just going to say, forget it, you guys are all fired. Because the little guys like me, we can't fire these politicians. We can't fire these teachers' unions. We can't fire.
No, I think you're
anybody.
Totally right about that, Mark. And the thing was, Nithya was up for re-election last year, and she got such a overwhelming amount of the vote, she didn't even have to go to the runoff. She got over 51% in the primary. So obviously the locals looked at her and said, yes, more of this. And at that point, yeah, maybe you just move. Thanks so much for the call, Mark. Appreciate it. I will say, I have been a resident of the city of Los Angeles for the past 7 years. No, before that I was in Reseda, so the past 8 years. Before that, I lived in Burbank for 5 years, and I miss it. Let's go to John in San Diego. John, hello.
Yes, sir.
Howdy.
Yes, sir. So thank you. My comment is in terms of cleaning out those lots, and I haven't seen them, so I don't know if they're paved over or if it's dirt or combination of that. But how about they just have some random livestock go through there and start eating the weeds? Maybe it'll kind of motivate people to get through there. You know, it's maybe a stampede, a little running of the bulls, something like that.
Just unleash a giant herd of goats. And if they do anything to those goats, that's a crime against an animal. And that is something I think the local electeds would do something about. I think that's great. Thanks so much for the call, John. Appreciate it. Let's go to Mickey in Encino. Mickey, hello.
Yeah, hey, how you doing, Randy? Just
great.
wanted to say, I think your preceding comments and a caller, or maybe the second last caller, had the right idea. Unfortunately, I had the misfortune of working in a council office some years ago, so I'm fully aware of what you're talking about. The constituents would call up, long story short, and say the police would come out. They'd say, we can't do anything. Call your local council office, who, of course, as you know, is beyond utterly worthless. Each one is more worthless than the other. I don't know if you can vote these idiots out of office. Like you said before, you get all these geniuses protecting the homeless, even though they're doing illegal things. I guess maybe the only thing to do is, like you said, either move or, I hate to recommend it, to become vigilantes. Because local government has shown themselves repeatedly to be utterly useless, absolutely useless. And, each one's blaming the next level. I don't think there's really much else. I'm not wishing harm, if that's the road they took. I'm not saying to harm these individuals. But yeah, I think there's probably things one can do to just to blow them out of there. What do you think?
I think that we're going to see a rise in vigilantism. There's already reports in San Francisco of Narcan vigilantes shoving Narcan in overdose in people that are lying on the street to reduce their high and get them out of there. I don't know if that's really true, but I think people are fed up. And if the local government won't do anything about lawlessness, then people, unfortunately, will take the law into their own hands. And what I don't understand is if Nithya can't do a damn thing about this, what are we paying her for? Why does she get $220,000 a year?
Is it that she can't or won't?
Exactly. Thanks so much for the call, Mickey. Appreciate it. Let's go to Morris in Studio City. Morris, hello.
Yes. This has been a problem for years. The politicians run for their position. The voters believe them, but nothing is done. This is positive. They own homes. Karen Bass has 2 homes, one from the city and one that she owns. All the homes that they own, each and every home, have them put in 20 homeless, male or female, in their backyard, in their kitchen, in their bedrooms. Load up them houses with the homeless so they can get the message. Because they don't get the message and they don't much care. And this goes on to eternity. And I see this all the time. I'm in Studio City, right near Ventura Boulevard. Actually, right near, not too far from Radford, KCBS, KCAL, Channel 9. I'm right over there. And I see the homeless all over in that area there. Nothing is done about it. And I've stopped calling, stopped filing complaints. You'll get a heart attack filing a complaint because they couldn't care less. As long as they get that big fat paycheck, that's all they care about. I think we need to start a voter drive to cut their pay 50%. Are they working for that?
I would 100% support that. Morris, I love that. We should honestly get people collecting signatures right now. Cut every member of the LA City Council's pay in half. They do not deserve $220,000 a year for that job. All of them. I love that. Thanks so much for the call. Also, yes, if Nithya doesn't think it's a big problem to have a bunch of naked homeless people in the back of your apartment building, then maybe she'd like to host them in her backyard. And you know what? How about this? LA City Hall is a 900,000 square foot building that's 32 floors. How about we send everyone home to work remote from now on, and we put as many homeless as possible in that building with a lock on the door. Let's go to Avon in Lancaster. Avon, hello.
Hi, Randy. Where I live is in the high desert, and the golf course that closed out there, they wanted to turn it into a homeless community, and they were going to have like 25 RVs and like 100 tents, showers, take care of the trash for all the people, bring in like hot meals a couple times a day and stuff. And oh my God, the homeless people would have thought they went to heaven.
Oh, well, the thing is, when you start doing sites like that, the safe camping sites, the safe sleeping sites, the safe parking sites, then all of a sudden, these inhumane conditions that they've lived with forever and ever and ever, now they're city sanctioned and they'll sue the city. That's what's going on in San Diego right now.
Oh, what a shame.
Thanks so much for the call, Avon. Appreciate it. I mean, I'm not opposed to, not Lancaster, but like far out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Mojave, have a place where anything goes. In fact, Barbara Ferrer can run this because she's so into harm reduction. So we'll give you all the paraphernalia you want. We'll give you all the drugs you want. You just got to stay there in Mojave. We'll make sure you have water, but you shouldn't be in Studio City. Let's go to Mike in Encino. Mike, hello.
Hi, good afternoon, Randy. This is something that most people unheard of, what's going on in LA County. The city of LA County made over $20 billion in property taxes in 2024. They had almost 10 to 12,000 people destroy properties all over LA County. Someone from the city informed me that there's 360 properties targeted for destruction. Let's do the math. They pay Section 8 for everybody camps a specific location for about 3 to 4 months, 5 months, 2 months, depending, and they assign a manager to manage that. I don't know who does that. Special group, far left, I don't know. But the bottom line is, if these properties are destroyed, which most of them done, the businesses are destroyed. This is the difference what it makes the city or employees in the city, whoever's involved, to make billions of dollars. They keep their job. That's fine. We appreciate that. The city has to run. But the property are paying $10,000 in taxes. Now that property, the homeless, destroyed for about 2 to 3 years till the property is sold. A developer comes in, build a property on it where other people to build on it was not allowed. Somehow these developers are allowed to build whatever they want on that property. Now let's put it this way. That property is built and finished, maybe about worth on a property that's worth maybe $5 to $10 million. They put a building on it for maybe $200, $300 million. Now the city makes versus $10,000 from that property, they make $2.5 million every year. So how will the city makes over $20 billion on the properties in LA County by destroying indirectly the city or the left involved in the city to destroy this property one by one, one by one. And when this group go out to park on another property, burn the building, destroy it, vandalize it, rob it, cut everything, cut power, steal power lines. As much as destruction you can do, you call the cops, they'll come maybe in 45 minutes. Maybe they will not even show up. They keep calling you back. Are they still there? What is going on here?
I think, Mike, you are onto something. It's not that far-fetched to see that so much of this can be by design because, yes, if you destroy neighborhoods, burn down buildings, redevelop them into tall towers, it's more property tax money, and that's more money for the government to pay to more of their nonprofits to run more of these homeless shelters. There's definitely a racket involved here, and I'm sure there's criminal activity, as we've already seen a lot of people looking into some of the misappropriations of funds with organizations like LASA. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you're on hold, stay on hold to get right back to your calls as we try to figure out what to do with this homeless encampment in Studio City that the locals won't do anything about. 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's go to Miguel in Long Beach. Miguel, hello.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Hello.
You're on the air.
Okay. So I hear there's the politicians are spending billions of dollars to try to reduce the homelessness and my suggestion is there's a lot of land in the desert All we need to do is dig some wells and build some small homes with mini homes, and that will take millions and not billions of dollars to put. Maybe I think with $10 million you can set up 100 families up there.
Oh, you could, for the amount of money that we've spent in the last 5 years, which is $20 billion, we could have put every single one of these people in a single family home. But there's a big old grift going on, and that's where we've really got to put a stop to this. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. Hey, look at this, everyone. 790 KABC welcomes Megyn Kelly live with special guests Jillian Michaels, Fifth Column, and Maureen Callahan at the Honda Center on November 21st. Tickets are on sale Wednesday. Nope, that's already now. Tickets are on sale now at MegynKelly.com. But right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-795-2222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Sabretooth Touring. Good luck dialing. If you're on hold, stay on hold. More of your calls coming up next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's go to Monica in Irvine. Monica, hello.
Hi, Randy. Thanks for taking my call. I had a few ideas on what to do with the homeless. You had an episode on the John Phillips show about Slab City. I think that'd be a great location for the homeless. Move them out there, and they can do all.
It's
the
already a
want.
place full of RVs and lawlessness. So why is it such a bad thing to centralize the problem? Putting up a giant field hospital the way you would do in a third world country out somewhere where they're not bothering everybody. But apparently the only way we achieve equity is if every neighborhood suffers the way that the poor neighborhoods do. So thanks so much, Karen Bass. Thanks so much for the call, Monica. Appreciate it. All right, last word on this. Let's go to Scott in Hollywood. Scott, hello.
Hey, Randy, we'll see you on Friday. I know you're running out of time, so I've got 3 short items. Number one, the residents on Bluffside need to get to Nithya Raman's office physically and in her satellite offices and demand attention and demand that she show up. That's number one. Number two, the city council meetings need to be done at nighttime, at least many of the council meetings need to be done in the evening so hardworking people can make the city council meetings instead of those who show up there. And you know what I'm talking about. And then last thing, in 1 hour from now, I will be asking Nithya Raman on a Zoom meeting to explain and justify why she is one of the 15 people of the highest paid city council in the country. Justify that salary. I'll be asking her that at 7 o'clock tonight on an Encino Property Owners Association meeting.
I love that. And I think that's a very interesting question. Why are these people so highly paid when they've got almost nothing to show for it? Oh, look at this. Roger writes in at randykabc@gmail.com. Why don't we put all the homeless in the LA and Oakland Coliseums? Some would argue those coliseums have already been host to a lot of bums. Thank you all so much for listening to the show. This is going to be a short week for the News Blitz. I'll be here live tomorrow, and tomorrow's National Cheeseburger Day, so we'll have a special show for that. But on Friday, I will be broadcasting live with John Phillips at the Pineapple Hill in Sherman Oaks, so come see us noon to 3. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang at KBC.